When I was a kid growing up, sometimes we'd get matinee movie ticket packages in the summer. And what this meant is you'd go to the movie theater the same time and day every week for, maybe 8 weeks. And you'd see a movie that had been designated as being for children. And some of these movies, as I thought back on it, were quite weird. And the funny thing about being a kid when you're watching a movie is I don't think you can totally distinguish the fiction in the movie from the reality of your life. So sometimes I remember watching these movies and thinking, well, this is a weird thing happening, but I'm glad I'm learning about it now so that when it happens in my life, I'll be ready for it. So one of the movies I remember we saw was called Windwalker. Have you guys heard of this movie? I saw that you can still see on Amazon. It's something to do with a Native American family or tribe, and there's a chief named Windwalker. And in the movie, when he dies, they take his body and build a big funeral pyre and roast his body on there. And I remember as a kid watching that and thinking, man, I sure hope he's dead. I wasn't entirely sure, like, was he dead or, he was just old and so they roasted his body. That's what I thought in the movie. And I thought to myself, well, I guess someday that's probably going to happen. Someone that I love, is going to be roasted on a pile of sticks. So I'm glad I'm learning about it now. There was another movie that we saw one of these summers on these matinee tickets that was called Against a Crooked Sky. And about all I remember about it is there was a kid, I can't remember, I think it was a girl that was captured by an Indian, by a Native American, and someone had to go rescue her. And I remember thinking, well, I'm glad I'm learning about this. Someone I know is probably going to be kidnapped and we're going to have to rescue him. There was another movie, can't remember the title, where there were a couple of boys. They were probably escaping from some kind of, danger. They swam through a swamp, and one of them got bit by a scary snake, and obviously, it was a poisonous snake. And the other kid was really fast thinking. He had a knife, and he found on the other dude's leg where the snake had bit him, and he cut an X in there, and then he sucked the poison out with his lips and then spit it out, and thereby, saving his friend from being paralyzed or killed by the snake bite. And again, I remember thinking to myself, well, that's a great, tip. That's a great tool to put in my toolkit mentally. Someday I'm going to have to slice open my friend and, drink the poison out of his leg. Even a movie we saw, Pippi Longstocking. I don't know what version it would have been because I know there were a couple of Pippi Longstocking movies, and all I can remember about that was, oh, it's some weird girl. I don't know if she was orphaned or what, who lives on a ship, and I don't know. They didn't have as many animated movies back then like we do now. So I guess this fare that I'm talking about was seen as, oh, this is good stuff for kids. And obviously, as kids, it was fun to watch movies. These matinee movie packages, they would have been dirt cheap, Ticket was probably $1, maybe less. And it was a fun thing to do, with siblings or with a friend. But I think some of the movies have left me scarred.